It's finally here. Do you recall around a year ago when JJK ended, endless theorizing about a sequel or spin-off ensued? Many thought it was getting a direct sequel, however, it seems Gege has planned a little spin-off for us. For those who don't know, Jujutsu Kaisen 3, Modulo? I don't know, was announced a while ago, and the first chapter dropped on the 7th, which is today as of writing this script. Unfortunately, Gege is not doing the artwork, but good on him for taking a step back with his franchise and just writing. But your artwork will be missed. For those leakers haven't spoiled, Modulo takes place around 68 years after the end of Jujutsu Kaisen. The main characters are this alien. Yes, Jujutsu Kaisen now has aliens. You have every right to be skeptical. The alien is named Maru, and the main characters are also Yuta's grandchildren. Therefore, it is confirmed that Yuta has bagged Maki. And yes, we are all very, very proud of him. These two grandchildren are named Yuka and Tsurugi. Now that that's all out of the way, let's get into a brief summary of the chapter, then my thoughts on it. Quick disclaimer, please read the chapter yourself. I'm not meant to be the sole summarizer of your experience with the manga. Everything is always better when you read it yourself. Don't be that part of the fandom. The chapter starts by showing us our new and main plot point, the Simurians. Simurians? Don't get mad at me in the comments, please. They have a ship of 50,000 aliens coming to seek sanctuary on Earth. We quickly bounce to a little flashback when Maki and Yuta were alive, and this is where we see our first sort of conflict and motivation in the story. Yuta gives Yuka his ring, the one he puts on for Rika and his domain, in case you forgot. He mentions it being a sort of protective charm. Whether that's actually the case, or Yuta is just trying to provide his granddaughter some comfort, I'm not really sure. However, this ring is quickly taken by a woman who I assume is Yuta's daughter-in-law? I don't know for sure though. And she says it needs to be given to Tsurugi, Yuka's older brother. This is most likely because he is a male and an entire year older than Yuka. This sets up Yuka's motivation and eventually Tsurugi's too. Yuka is dead set on proving she is strong enough to be suited for the ring and surpassing Tsurugi. As of right now, it appears they're around the same level power-wise stated by Yuka here. We then cut to this creep threatening to kill a child. After all, it's not JJK if it doesn't have some creep threatening to kill kids. And then the grandchildren get the rundown of the situation from who I assume is either their teacher or a window. They then meet Maru, whom they somehow believe is a sorcerer from another country. He looks like the person on the ship, however it is stated later that Maru has a twin brother. Also in official colorings, they have different eye colors. Another thing to note is that Maru has an inner monologue about checking out the Earthlings' powers since they're similar to theirs, meaning the Simurians share the ability to wield curse energy, which means cool new powers. Always a good thing. The gang then finds where this creep's barrier is. It is here that Maru brings up having a brother, most likely the one we saw earlier on the ship. Tsurugi then charges forward and also gets snatched up, leaving his sword. The barrier is meant to sort out sorcerers, but because Tsurugi is actually revealed to have some sort of heavenly restriction with no curse energy, the barrier also snatches him. I highly doubt he's on Toji and Maki level, but he is physically superior to Yuka and is shown to be lifting massive weights kind of like Zoro. Yuka is apprehensive about helping Tsurugi, but is eventually convinced by Maru to do so. Somehow this creep knows about the aliens and says the higher ups compare all 50,000 of them being an equal threat to Sukuna. The Sukuna glaze continues. We also get a small panel glazing Gojo and Yuji, but I'm sure Twitter and TikTok will say Gege still hates them. Here we see that sorcerers today are not on the level and are even weaker, according to this creep, than the sorcerers that we were used to. Yuka and Maru then finally arrive, and it's here we get to see Maru's curse technique, which we're definitely not told everything about. It's called Harmony, and can seek balance to find a person who matches the person it's used on. For me, this is way too specific to not be important for something else, and I also saw a theory saying that Maru might have used Harmony on their leader and he was matched with Sukuna, and that's how they found Earth, which I think is a pretty plausible theory considering how similar the leader and Sukuna are. If that is the case, then prepare for some deaths because they're going to get their ass kicked. Yuka immediately wants to fight Tsurugi and gets her ass kicked, then they focus on the creep. I'm honestly not sure if what we see Yuka use here is a curse technique or some kind of learned technique. It's hard to tell with sorcery evolving for 60 years and us not really seeing. But the creep follows it up by saying it's some kind of martial arts move with curse energy properties, so I'm going to assume it's not a curse technique. Tsurugi finally gets his katana back, the Honoyagi. This sword generates sparks and infuses them into the blade, setting his sword on fire, which is cool as hell. Together they take down the creep, but not for long, in which Maru is then forced to use his alien third eye to somehow knock the creep right out. Right before this, we finally see Tsurugi's motivation. He wants to become so strong that he doesn't require this protection ring. This is because of a flashback with Maki explaining how they're similar, how they get stronger from pain. So in his eyes, receiving the ring is a direct insult to his grandmother's words. It's also an insult to him, saying he needs a ring to protect him. Meanwhile, Yuka sees it as a gift from her dead grandfather, which was unrightfully taken away. This is a nice setup for both siblings' motivations, and I can't help but think Yuta almost did this on purpose to give them some kind of reason to push themselves. This chapter ends with the grandchildren questioning if Maru is an alien after they see him using his eye. Overall, I'm excited for where this story is going to go. I'm not going to lie, hearing aliens were being added to Jujutsu Kaisen definitely took the wind out of my sails, but I remain cautiously optimistic. The leader looks badass and reminds me of Sukuna, which if you've been a watcher you know is my favorite character. The art is beautiful, and eventually I will heal from not being able to see Gege's art style. I love the idea of not trying to power creep Gojo and Sukuna and just leaving them at the ceiling of Jujutsu, which seems to be the route they're taking. However, their leader could be stronger than them, I have no clue. And the main characters seem pretty cool so far, but it's going to be hard for protagonists to beat Yuji for me. It has only been one chapter, so I don't want to judge too much, as I'll likely end up eating my words, but I hope our main characters don't have the Yuji problem, where their powers are either extremely bland or borrowed from other people, or just plain boring. Maru is adorable in this chapter, and I can't help but feel there will definitely be some sort of inner conflict with him depending on what his colony people decide to do with Earth. I do hope there will be some kind of cameos of the older characters just being absolutely senile. Maybe Grandpa Yuji shows up, shows him how to do it, I don't know. I'm definitely excited to see the power system evolve and maybe even see Sumerians have some entirely new type of domain expansion, if it could even be called that. And I'm also looking forward to maybe seeing some new special grades, maybe seeing the grade system revamped. I also hope Gege doesn't forget about maximums and reversals. Seeing more of those could be really cool. And overall, I'd probably give the chapter an 8 out of 10. And I'm definitely looking forward to next week, and I hope y'all are too. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I plan on covering Modulo pretty extensively, depending on how good it ends up being. Obviously, if I don't end up liking it, I'm not going to cover it. I do plan on making more videos once my schedule gets sorted. I have just started college, so things are going to be a bit slower. I do still find time to stream multiple times a week, so maybe come see my handsome mug a little more often. We have tons of fun over there, and we're doing a God of War marathon right now. Don't forget to join our Discord server if you want to get notifications for when I go live or I'm posting. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, it'd mean a lot to me. And then let me know what kind of content y'all want to see on the channel. Have a good night, my undead.